Hi, I'm Cheryl Hazzard. I was thinking about warning signs of toxic people, which could be a sensitive subject. One of them that I was looking at was the tendency to complain about one situation. A person who does not do anything to change their situation, but they complain about it. And the thing is, with that one, that was a tough one for me because I realized that was actually me. Um, I really can complain about how my life is and the way it is and that I don't like the way it is. But, you know, it's destructive because nobody wants to listen to somebody complain over and over again that they don't like their life and then that person does nothing. Like if they give a suggestion and that I don't do anything with it. Now I'm doing a little bit better if I say I get plastic utensils and stuff and I reduce how many dishes I have to wash, and I wasn't happy with having to wash a bunch of dishes. So, okay, that's something. That's one example. But, I could know people like that too, where they complain about their situation and they do nothing to change it. And I offer them a suggestion and they say why it won't work. Another example of a toxic person would be somebody who tells you why you can't achieve your goal. Every time you tell them what you dream of, what your goal is, what's your idea, why it won't work. They always have a reason. They don't tell you what could work about this or why it could work or be a great idea or how you can make it work. They tell you why you can't. And then they also find other ways to make you feel bad about the goal that you want to pursue. I had people in my life who, when I told them that I wanted to learn to play the keyboard and why I enjoy learning about music to play, they made me feel guilty for spending my money on a keyboard. Even though I got the keyboard quite a while ago. And yet they made me feel guilty about spending my money for a keyboard. Well, you know what? I got the keyboard. And maybe I'm not the perfect keyboard player yet. But, I could play songs that are kind of somewhere in the middle on levels of challenging. They're starting to have chords on it. I'm working on the sharps and flats. I'm working on songs that make me go, damn it, when I mess up the chord, and then I gotta try again. And then I have to tell myself to try again, because if I don't try again, I don't get any better. And that's, what I do. I have to push myself through, damn it. And that's the thing. Like, I have Asperger's syndrome, a learning disability. And I read the commentary once of somebody else who had Asperger's who said that they couldn't develop a talent, like they didn't have a talent and they had Asperger's syndrome. And that's the thing. You have to push yourself harder to do it. You might have to figure out another way to do it or push yourself harder. But it doesn't mean that you can't develop an ability if you want to. But you have to be able to work through, damn it. You have to work through that moment where you just want to say, damn it. With an exclamation point and capitalized G at the beginning. So, don't let people discourage you from developing your talents or yourself or chasing after your goals if that's what you want. Who knows what you can achieve if you tried, but you won't know unless you actually try. But another example of a person who's toxic is a person who gaslights you. They deny your reality. They deny what you heard. They make you feel like you're going crazy, and they make you out to be crazy. And that person is really not a friend if that's what they are doing to you. And it's time to say adios to that person if that's what they're going to do. Nathan, I'm trying to work on something. Can you not interrupt me? Jeez. Can't get anything. Sometimes it's hard to get stuff done when you're raising a kid, I'll tell you. Toxic, mom losing her shit. Mom's tried to do everything for her kid. Kid won't listen, and she's had difficulty with the kid all day, and then mom loses her shit. There you go. And that might be another example of being toxic, actually. A person who has no boundaries or doesn't set boundaries or make them stick. And in my case, I have to admit that I've had difficulty with that one, especially making boundaries stick when it comes to my own son. And even in romantic relationships and dating. And it may be that the person hasn't had the chance to learn very good boundaries, or maybe they haven't had very good examples of somebody who sets boundaries in their life. I don't know. It could be any number of things. Or maybe they were in situations where they were abused and the boundaries are blurred. Those lines are blurred. But another example of a toxic person would be somebody who lies to you, and they make you feel like you aren't heard. You have to keep saying the same things to them, and they don't acknowledge what you said. And all it ends up in is frustration on your part trying to get their attention. But those are a few examples of toxic people or signs that a person is toxic. And, when I was reflecting on them, a couple of them did sound like me. And it was a bit tough to actually try to do that, like to take a look at myself and go, what do I need to tweak here? Because something needs tweaking. And some people may be toxic and willing to acknowledge they're toxic and are willing to work on it. And if they're willing to work on it, that's a big thing. But then another warning sign of somebody who might be toxic is somebody who they have faults and flaws, and they make it all the other person's fault, or it's the other person's responsibility to fix it. They don't take responsibility for the fact that it's their responsibility to fix it. Like, it's my responsibility to stop complaining about my life and do something to make it better. It's not everyone else's responsibility to fix me and fix my life and to make it better. That's my job to come up with the strategy to make my life really good and to make it the best that I can make it. And to learn some from people who can do it better for me if they're willing to offer the lessons, the schooling or the instruction. But ultimately, it is my responsibility to learn how to do it better. That's my responsibility. But if you come across somebody where they're really not willing to learn from their mistakes, they constantly make bad choices, that could be a warning sign of a toxic person, that they constantly make a bad choice. Like, they end up in jail and for armed robbery or for abusing people or whatever. That person's constantly making a bad choice. Getting drunk and knocking somebody up, and then they're not in the kid's life. Whatever. That person's constantly making a bad choice, and they're constantly unreliable. That person might be toxic. And, yeah, I admit, while I say that, I could probably do better on being consistently reliable, and I'm working on it. But if the person is consistently unreliable and they're not willing to work on it, well, that might say something about them. Anyway, that's a point that I wanted to make.